Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is Monday, August 22nd, and we are here to share with you all about this amazing little device called the Healy. It is a frequency device and like energy medicine, if you've heard of that term. And I'm excited to just share with you what I've learned about this for the last, now almost well over two years, getting close to 2.5 years. And so let me just tell you that story. I have always in my entire married life, been married, 32 years, we have always done things very holistically for our health. We avoid pharmaceutical drugs. We actually avoid vaccines. We do everything we can to try to stay healthy through more natural methods. And we've always worked with a friend of ours named Dr. Corrine Allen, who's more of like a naturopathic physician out of Idaho. And she called me in May, it was May 14th of 2020, said, David, you've got to hear about this Healy device. It's just amazing. And I didn't know much about energy or frequency. So maybe some of you are like me then, not knowing much. I'd heard of the thing called a Rife machine from way, way back when, but didn't know anything. So what she explained is that we're working more on the subatomic level in our bodies at this point, where everything is frequency and energy. So she explained, for instance, that every cell in the body has a cellular voltage to it. It's a little power plant, right? Every little cell in our body, the trillions of cells, they are all a little power plant. And there's a specific frequency, an ideal frequency for each different type of cell. So a skin cell and a liver cell and a heart cell, that all have a different frequency. And you can actually add energy at that specific frequency and see things happen. For instance, some of the studies have shown it increases amino acid transport, increases ATP production, which is the power of the cell. Protein synthesis is increased. But we also now have learned you can do things with frequencies like even brain waves and emotions. Everything is a frequency. You measure frequencies typically in hertz, and that can be light or sound, or microcurrent, meaning electricity. All different ways of doing frequencies. So this Rife machine I had heard of was way back in the 1930s or so. This guy named Dr. Raymond Royal Rife had come up with this machine where you'd hold on to these two copper bars, and a very mild electrical current would flow through your body, and it would he would have it at a very specific frequency, and he was learning which frequencies did certain things. And there were other people in this era that were figuring some of this out as well. And so he was even having results, like even having people with cancer having some good results and stuff. So of course that was right back when the Rockefellers was determining that they wanted all medicine to be through pharmaceutical drugs, because that's the way they could make the most money. So they actually shut him down. They made him out to be a quack. They destroyed his lab. They just completely put him out of business. And this whole idea was kind of lost for decades. Maybe 20 to 30 years ago, especially over in Europe, people started reviving this idea of frequencies and developing more and more technologies that could do things, whether it's microcurrent or sound or light therapy or lasers, all sorts of different frequencies. So there's a company out of Germany called Time Waver, and the inventor is a man named Marcus Schmieke. He's a quantum physicist, but he was also a monk for 10 years. So he's a very interesting guy. And he developed this Time Waver system, which now is used by a few thousand therapists around the world. But it's an expensive device. It can cost anywhere from $20,000 to $40,000. It takes a lot of training, and to go to Germany and get trained. There's just a lot to it. It's a big device that hooks to a computer in a therapist's office. And it's kind of like that old Rife machine where you have to hold on to these things. That's one form of application. You hold on to the bars, and it puts the current through your body. So, but very, very successful. These Time Waver therapists over these last 15 years have developed some amazing frequency programs that are just incredible, whether it's for circulation or your heart or your liver or meridians or chakras, or there's so many categories, and they've just been able to figure out which frequencies work with what and which harmonics of frequencies work with what. And by putting that energy in at those specific frequencies, you end up having a result. It's very interesting. Now, it's also very alternative, very holistic. So the FDA wouldn't recognize 99% of what we do, but they actually do recognize this, the Healy, as an FDA cleared class 2 device for pain, for like arthritis pain, muscle soreness, and so on, because they do know that there are specific frequencies that reduce pain. So, but the Healy does 1,000 times more things than just pain relief. Over in Europe, their medical clearances even include things like fibromyalgia, anxiety, and depression. And so they know that these frequencies can do, even in the traditional medical world, they do know they can already do certain things. They're just not catching on yet of all the amazing things that we've been able to do with both the time waver and now the Healy. So they developed the Healy a little later on, just a few years ago, as a way so that the average person like you and I could experience frequencies every day. Instead of going and paying $150 for one session with a time waver therapist, you can buy a Healy and you can run multiple programs every day for you and your family. So it's really an ingenious idea, and the goal of the companies in the next 10 years or so, that there will be 100 million people in this world, or 100 million families in this world, that own one of these Healys, and that would make a huge impact on the planet. You see, back way, again, 100 years ago, you probably heard of Nikola Tesla. He was a famous quantum physicist, and he said that if you want to understand the secrets to the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So they understood that way back then. And even Albert Einstein, I know you've heard of him, he said the future of medicine will be the medicine of frequencies. So we're just now realizing what they understood way back then and putting it into practice. It's really, really cool. So when I learned about this, again, Dr. Allen had to kind of explain this to me, but I was in. I just trust her so much. I said, hey, you believe it's great. She had ordered hers on May 1st of 2020, which is the first day they were available in the United States, and then had received hers and used them for about a week, and then called me up and said, we're just having these amazing results for our clients. You should get one of these. And I was interested in the business side too. It is a network marketing type of business, but it's completely not necessary that you do that. Of course, you can either be a customer or a member, and you would if you do choose to be a member, you can refer people, and you can even earn a free Healy. You can do all this stuff. So I'll just mention that at the end. We're not really going into all that today. I really want you to understand the Healy and see how powerful it is. So I'm just going to tell you a little bit more about it, and then I'm going to actually demonstrate it for you. So so really the way that, when I ordered mine, unfortunately at that point they were back ordered quite a bit. This was May of 2020, so kind of near the beginning of COVID, supply chain, all that. And these are made in Germany, and they had to get them over to the United States. And we had a shipping center out of Utah at that time, and get them to there, and then they could ship them out. And there were so many people wanting them and buying them because they had grown so quickly in Europe, and people had heard about it here. It was just, they couldn't keep up. So luckily today, there's no more back orders. We have, there used to be all sorts of customer service issues back then. Now we have great customer services, still through a ticketing system, but it works well. Eventually here we'll have live chat customer service and some of those other things, because the company is just exploding. They went from 7 million in revenue in 1 year to 120 million in revenue the next year. So they're just growing like crazy. So so anyway, let's talk about what the Healy actually is. So this is the device, and it can do microcurrent frequencies through these wires going to electrodes. These bracelets here are actually an electrode. So instead of holding onto a copper rod or something, you just have these bracelets, and it will send a very, very mild, just from the rechargeable battery in the Healy, a little slight electrical current through at specific frequencies, okay? And there's tens of thousands of, or even hundreds of thousands of different frequencies that it could possibly do. And you can actually feel a little bit of a sense of that energy in your hands when you run it, if you turn up the intensity, and you can tell that it's doing something. But the idea there is that it's sending the frequencies through, what conducts electricity? It's water, right? And we're mostly water in our bodies. So it's sending the frequencies through the water, through the cellular matrix in your body. and just passing through all the cells in your body and adjusting and such. But it has a quantum sensor in it. So as it's running, it's actually sensing your bioenergetic field. It's seeing how you're responding to the frequencies. It adjusts the frequencies. So in real time, it's really making adjustments. So it makes it extremely, extremely advanced, just like a time waiver system that costs $40,000. But at the consumer level, much, much more affordable, of course. Another way we can do frequencies that came out maybe about a year ago or so, it's really cool. We can take out the wires, and this here is a Tesla coil. Nikola Tesla, remember? It's a thing called a Tesla coil where he would send energy between two coils across space. And so this actually has, you can see the coil there. There's another one down below that you can't see. But when you have those two coils, it creates something called a 0-point field. And then you're getting frequencies in a 0-point field, which uses scalar waves. Now, this is all quantum physics. You can look all this up if you want. I don't want to get into all that science stuff. We don't need to know exactly how it works. We just need to know it works, right? But just so you know, there's quantum physics going on here, 0-point fields, scalar waves, and so on. There's a third way we can do frequencies called radionics, or it's sort of like a vibrational frequency, and it's in the quantum field using things like quantum entanglement. Maybe you've heard of that term. These are very advanced quantum physics terms. The quantum physicists understand this much more than I will ever understand it. But again, I've seen it work. I know it works. I'm going to show you a little bit of all, well, you can see how it works with the coil there. You would just do it wirelessly. I'm going to actually demonstrate running a frequency program with the wires here in a second, but then I'll also show you how we can do it in the quantum field, that third way of doing frequencies. So what I'm going to do is just turn on the Healy. There's a little button here you turn on. We got a blinking light now, and just clip it to my shirt because we want it to be within that EMF field around my body, or our bioenergetic field. And so it can be reading that. The quantum sensor in the Healy can be reading my field. And now we control it just with our smartphone or a tablet. It can be Apple or Android, and it can be a phone or a tablet. And I'm going to share my phone screen so you can see how I would control this. Sorry about my voice. I've got a bit of an upper respiratory thing here, but we will get through this. So I am going to share my phone screen. So now you're seeing my phone, and here you can see a bunch of different kinds of apps we'd use with Healy. These three here are the ones we use the most. So let me show you first this one. If you had your own Healy, you would use this app called Healy that has this pink dot on the icon. So we call it the pink dot app. And you can see I was running a circulation program most recently. I'll cancel that. And we'll go back to the beginning. I just want to show you all the different types of programs we can do. We can run frequencies in this gold cycle set, which were developed by one of these time waiver therapists out of Portugal. So these are a little more just generic, basic frequency sets that are a little more generalized, like Pure is about detoxing the body, Release is about pain in the body, whether it's physical, mental, emotional, energy, relax, so on. Then there's programs for pain. These are the two that are FDA cleared, but then we also have pain for like tooth and jaw, joints, migraine, and I think this is insomnia, depression, anxiety. Here we have learning programs, which have been awesome for kids to helping them concentrate. We have fitness programs. Before I show you all the programs, let me just show you what it would look like to run a program. Let's say I were to run this deep relaxation program. I just hit the icon. It tells me that this program will be about 24 minutes. Programs typically last anywhere from 20 minutes to I've seen them be as long as like an hour and 20 minutes. But most of them are typically 40 to 60 minutes. So this is a little bit shorter program, doesn't matter though. And you just hit start. It does show here you'd use the electrodes on your wrist, or you see here it says it can also be used with the Healy coil. I'm going to hit start. And what happens is now transmitting all the frequencies for deep relaxation for this program set that these time waiver therapists have discovered. It's sending all those frequencies by Bluetooth from my phone to the Healy. And it takes a little while because it's not just doing one frequency like the old Rife machine. The old Rife machine, if you were doing a program for relaxation, he had found one frequency, you'd hit start, it would just send that one frequency for a while and you're done. With the Healy, it's sending probably hundreds of different frequencies that they've all found can affect different aspects of deep relaxation. And as it runs the program, it's going to be scanning my field and choosing the correct frequencies that I need the most so that I can um, move towards deep relaxation in this case. So here the program is now starting. You'll see that it'll start at 359.4 hertz is the one that is selected for me at first. After 10 seconds, that will change. And every 10 seconds, that will change. So 304 hertz. And you can watch that. It'll change every 10 seconds. And it's actually kind of testing. And after 9 minutes, it will have created a queue of frequencies that will just keep repeating every 10 seconds. And it will continue, for 24 minutes total in this program. This little red dot is going to go around this circle. So you can kind of see how much time you have left. This will count down. This white line means I'm getting good conductivity between the two wrists right now. I could up the intensity. In my case, usually when I get it to about 40%, now I feel this little sense of tingling in my hands, a little sense of energy. And so that's usually where I like to keep it, where I can just barely feel a little bit. But look at this. See how this means, if this were black, it would mean you're not getting enough frequencies. You'd either need to be better hydrated, so there's more water in your body, the frequencies to go through, or you may have a lot of toxicity in your body that needs to be cleared out. So you may find it easier and easier for this to stay white as you use the frequencies more and more. But you can also just up the intensity, that will help. Or you can even put a little water between your skin and the wrist electrodes so that your skin is wet. But look what happens when I unplug this. It goes black, right? Because I've interrupted the circuit. So that's proven here that my body is part of the circuit. The frequencies are flowing between my wrists through all the water and cells in my body. And if I unplug it, it's disconnected. I've interrupted that circuit. So I am part of the circuit. The frequencies are flowing through my body. Again, I could do that with the coil if I want. The reason why, it's different applications. This is a little more intense at the cellular level. The coil is more about balancing the energy in your bioenergetic field, which has an effect, but it's more subtle. So Healy would say to do 2, 3, or maybe 4 at the most programs with the wires, and to put several hours of rest in between, because your body needs to assimilate all this frequency and energy that's being put into it for a little while after you run a program. But in between, you could run as many programs as you want with this coil, because it's more about the bioenergetic field. So if you want to do Healy programs all day long, do 3 or 4 of them with the wires, and in between do programs with the coil all you want, or the third way I'm about to show you. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this program and finish showing you all the other types of programs. We have job and sleep programs, metal balance. I'm not going to pause too long, but you can quickly see the kinds of programs in beauty and skin. My wife had a lot of cool results with these scarring programs, or actually decreased scarring. Bioenergetic Harmony, this is one that I'm going to show you in a minute, how you can do scans of your body to see what frequency programs are most resonant with you right now. And this was coming up with, for me, the most at first. And I had, when I first got my Healy, I had numbness in this finger, and a little bit on my thumb, and a little bit on my elbow, on my right hand, my right arm. And the Healy could sense that. I needed to run this nerves program and restore that feeling back in my hands. Also on this next page, I was getting this scan result a lot, the sciatica pain program. And in that case, I would use, there's a different kind of electrodes instead of the wrist electrodes, where they're the adhesive type, where you can stick them onto your body. So I'd stick them on either side of that sciatic nerve and run that program. And I had for 10 years been having flare-ups of sciatica maybe once or twice a week. And I had to do all this stretching to kind of resolve that. But the Healy could sense that. Even if I wasn't having a flare-up, this would come up sometimes, because the Healy could see the imbalance in my system. And I would run that program. And honestly, in now over 2 years, I've only had one flare-up. And it was when we were moving out of our house and doing a lot of bending and lifting and stretching that I had a little flare-up for a day or two. But I would run that sciatica pain program, of course, and that helped a lot. To see meridians, if you're familiar with like the energy pathways in the body, meridians 1 and 2, chakra programs, bioenergetic defense, bioenergetic support, Bioenergetic vitalization is really cool. It's about youthfulness and stem cells and human growth hormone, epigenetic harmonization, if you're familiar with that term. Deep Cycle H is all about a deep detoxing of the body energetically. Well-being, digital nutrition mixtures are cool. These are like if you had a supplement for the brain or the hair or the skin that has certain nutrients and vitamins and minerals. This is the frequency information of those vitamins and minerals put into mixtures that you can run digitally. So I'm not saying you don't have to eat anymore, but you can energetically put that same substance into your body through your bioenergetic field and balance and add energy with those specific substances. So 6 pages of those if you have the digital nutrition set. Power of 3 is another cool one. Natural Cycle. There's expert programs if you want to work with a time waiver therapist. You might have noticed there aren't programs with names of diseases. You're not going to see diverticulitis or cystic fibrosis. But if you work with a time waiver therapist, they're a physician, they're a therapist. They actually have programs called diverticulitis or cystic fibrosis or whatever, and they can download those types of programs to your Healy, and you can own them forever and run them. So if you have a very specific issue and you want to get either an expert program that's pre-programmed through the time waiver, or even have a custom program made just for you by a time waiver therapist, you can do that. All right, so we'll go out of this program now. And let me just quickly show you here on the Heal Advisor. This is something every Healy has, no matter if you have a less expensive or more expensive Healy. There's something called the Heal Advisor Search. And that is right here. You can click here and type in, let's say, for instance, what did I say earlier? Cystic fibrosis. Okay, or polycystic kidney disease or Cushing's syndrome. Well, you see a lot of stuff will come up. I even didn't spell it right. It still found it for me. But I would click that, and it shows me based on my Healy and the programs that I own in my Healy. These are all the programs that would be best for supporting my body in dealing with cystic fibrosis. Okay, so there's a group of about 10 or 12 programs there. You can add them to a schedule. Or you can just write them down and just kind of focus on those. The other way that we decide what programs to run is the very, very cool Heal Advisor Analyze app. We call this, remember the pink dot app? We call this one the blue dot app. So in the blue dot app, I'm going to make sure the Healy's turned on again. Next, here's where we can actually create clients, and we can do resonance analysis, coaching analysis, our analysis. This our analysis is all about the chakras, those 7 energy centers in the body, and how the balance of that energy can affect different things in the body. If you're familiar with that, that'll really interest you. I don't deal a lot with that. Coaching analysis is really cool. This is where you can get into even like life coaching and areas like finances and personal relationships and business and self-worth, and different like self-image stuff. And do that even in a frequency type sets where you create programs of frequencies that you can run. But the resonance analysis is what I use the most. I use it every day. Okay, so I go in here, I'm going to choose myself as the client. It'll scan and find my Healy. In fact, it might find more than one Healy because I have more than one Healy in our household here. Yep, found 2. So I want to look at the back of this Healy that I'm using right now, make sure I have the right one. It's the serial number that ends in B7, so it's this top one. So I'll click on that. It'll connect by Bluetooth again to that Healy. All right, so here we go. So now the focus when I go to these databases that I can scan within is what do I have the greatest resonance now? So it's basically scanning my bioenergetic field and seeing what programs from these databases are the ones I need the most. So it's letting the Healy use the quantum sensor to tell us which frequency programs are most important. So I'll go there and show you these different databases, starting down here, about here, Healy Beauty Programs, Bioenergetic Fence. These are all those programs you saw in my Healy. Digital Nutrition, gold cycle, job, mental balance, meridians, power of three, so on. Okay. There's additional, and those are cool because I can scan within them, see which programs are run. I can do vibrational frequencies, which I'll show you in a second, but it also just helps me decide which program to run in the other app. I'll show you that in a second. But there's also all these other cool databases where we're not really working in the other app and using microcurrent. We're just doing the vibrational quantum frequencies that I'm going to show you in a second. But you may have heard of some of these more holistic type remedies called Alaskan gem elixirs or Australian bush flowers, Bach flower remedies. Of course, most of you probably heard of homeopathics. Down at the bottom, there's things like I Ching, which is traditional Chinese medicine, Schussler salts, vital substances, so on. But what I like to do the most is just go right here to all Healy programs. This is scanning within all the programs that could be on your Healy for the microcurrent or the coil. And so it's going to tell me of all those groups what are most important for me right now. The well-being programs are number one. Power of three are number two. 61% resonance, 59% resonance, 57. It goes in order of importance. The chakra programs are three. Bioenergetic defense and deep cycle is number five. So I would typically do scans within these, like well-being and power of three. Let's just do those real quick. Well-being only has 3 programs in it. So if I go here and I find Healy well-being programs, there's only 3. So it's what it's going to do is basically just rank them in order of importance. But I would know this was the #1 program group right now for me. And spirit, the spirit is it basically it's got mind, body, and spirit in this one. So the spirit program was most resonant with me right now. I need so I would know that I could go over to the other program, the pink dot program, and run this program, this particular program, with the wires and the electrodes or with the coil, and that would be very good. Or I might know just let's just do all 3 of these sometime through the day. Okay, we also have a power of 3 was really resonant with me, so we'll go to Healy. Let's see, I know power of 3. See, in this case, there's 9 programs. Typically, this brings up the top 5, but since well-being only had 3, it only brought up 3. This will bring up the top 5. So friendly flora is like the gut bacteria, right, in your body. Pitta, that's digital Ayurveda, if you're familiar with that. Zapper protocol is made famous by a lady named Hulda Clark, where this is dealing with things like viruses and or what are they called? The little organisms that live in you that you don't want in there. Okay, you can zap them. Classical energetic conflict balance. So these are different programs out of this group called Power of 3. So I would know, maybe I want to run, especially these ones that are above 50%. Maybe I'd want to run these ones sometime through the day, whether it's with the electrodes or the coil or both. Okay, but I can also do this. I can do vibrational frequencies. Just hit actions and then vibrate and choose a time period. I'll do a little lower. I'll do 37 seconds just for time's sake here, but you can go as long as hours. And so what it's doing now is remember whenever I was scanning me, it was showing this blue wavy line. Now you see this pink or red wavy line. That's the information it's sending to my bioenergetic field in the quantum field. It's doing this through quantum entanglement. But it's still scanning me. So what's important here is that the Healy is still adjusting. It's grabbing frequencies out of all of these sets for these 5 programs, but it's scanning my field to see what I need the most and balancing that in the quantum field. Now this is going to be more subtle, but still amazing results. And this may sound a little weird, but because of quantum entanglement, you can even do this remotely with somebody. So you can have someone in a whole nother state, even a whole nother country. If you've got them in as a client in your Healy, you can send them frequencies through quantum entanglement. Now, if you don't know, that sounds too crazy, go look up what quantum entanglement is. Okay, quantum physicists, people much smarter than us, understand that there is a direct link between everything in the universe, right? That's called quantum entanglement, and we can tap into that and send frequencies. And we do that by having a client file which has their picture and their birth date and a lot of other information that can help identify that person. Okay, so that's really cool. But again, I would probably go over here and say, I want to run this Friendly Flora program in the other app. So that's a lot of what you can do with the Healy. Now I'm going to leave this and stop sharing there. I'm going to look really quick and see if we have any important questions in the chat real quick, and then I'm going to show something about here. Okay, everyone's just saying great dedication. All right, here we go. So I am now going to share my computer screen and just show you a little bit more about the Healy, what it costs, and so on. So here is a little PowerPoint I made, Healy additions and pricing. You can see we do actually have a little Healy watch as well. That's really pretty cool, especially if you're into fitness and stuff. It can measure heart rate variability and other things that are even beyond other fitness watches, and then suggest Healy programs because of that. But we're not really going to get into that today. So as far as the Healy itself, there's 5 editions of the Healy at 5 price points. Same hardware for every edition. So you don't, if you start with a lower edition and want to upgrade later to a higher edition, you can pay an upgrade fee, move up to a higher edition where you have more functionality, but you don't have to get a whole new Healy. Okay, it's just a software upgrade. When you buy your Healy, you get all the stuff you need to use your Healy, and you also get a 2-week money-back guarantee, and it's from the date you receive your Healy. So you get it in the mail, you have 2 weeks, you can use it, play with it. For some reason you're not happy, you can return it, get all your money back. Of course, that's very rare because the Healy does work, and it's just so cool. All right, so this is an example of all the different Healy program groups. You saw most or all of these on my Healy, because I have just about everything you can have. And there's also app modules that have a little more functionality than just a program group. But if you see these numbers here, that means these are actual microcurrent programs as well that you can run with the coil or the wires. And in addition to that are all those other databases that are only quantum frequencies that aren't even listed here if you have the resonance ability, the resonance module. So that search module that I showed you comes with every edition. So these are all the different ones you can. So whether you have a lower priced Healy or a higher priced Healy, you have less or more of all of this stuff. Whatever edition you choose, you will have those programs and those app modules for life. And if you wanted to add something that's not included in your edition, you can add additional programs, but it'd be like a monthly subscription. So that is an option. But remember, the ones you purchase, the edition you purchase, the ones that come with that edition are that you own those forever, for life, with no monthly fee, no yearly fee, no additional cost at all to you ever. All right, so the Healy Gold is our lowest priced edition at about $500. So I know we have people joining even from other countries, but this will be in US dollars. We have found if you're in Europe that the euros would be less than this, but after you include your VAT, the value added tax, that your price ends up being right about the same as what you see here in US dollars. So you can think in euros plus VAT would be about this number. So Healy Gold, though, it only has 11 microcurrent programs, just that gold cycle set, the bioenergetic support set, which has these 2 programs, and then those 2 FDA cleared pain programs. And it does have that search module that we talked about. The far extreme, the Healy Professional, would normally cost about $4,000. But we do have a promotion going on here in August where the Professional is half price, and a couple of the other editions also are half price. So really right now, the most expensive one, the Professional, it has these 216 programs, 6 app modules, is only about $2,000. So it's a really, really good deal. And you would own all of these 216 microcurrent programs in all these categories. And here's where we're talking about that search module. We talked about the success coach module, the resonance modules, what we are playing with. There's that ARA module. There's specific extra functionality with digital nutrition and bioenergetic vitalization too, that are also modules. In between, there's these different programs. So this is without the discounts that we have right now. When you go from gold to holistic, you go from 11 programs to 63 programs, and we've added these additional program groups, which all have anywhere from 4 to 12 programs in each of them. These each have 12. Mental balance, I think, has 8 or 9. Meridians 1 and 2 each has 10 programs, for instance. If you choose one of these two, you are not doing the scanning I talked about. You would have to have this resonance module to do that. So in this case, you would just be using that first pink app, and you'd be choosing a program out of here, either by you just choosing with intuition or what you want to work on, or you go to that Healy Advisor search module, type in the issue you're having, and it'll return the programs out of the sets you own. But if you can afford it and you want to go to this resonance module, now you got the resonance module here. You add the Power of 3, which is that set that came up for me today, the sleep programs, all the rest of those pain programs, fitness programs, chakras. If you go to Resonance Plus, now you've added the aura analysis and the success coach modules, but also the program sets for skin, learning, and deep cycle H. And if you can afford to go to the professional, you now have the digital nutrition, bioenergetic vitalization, very popular, and beauty, job, and bioenergetic defense program sets. So here it is with the discounts. Basically, everything except the gold is half price this month. So nobody would buy a gold right now. The holistic is about the same price as the gold, right? $507.50 since it's half price. So, and you would get 63 programs instead of 11. So this is the lowest edition someone would buy right now. But I highly recommend trying to get at least the resonance. And at this price, most people are finding a way to do the professional. By the way, if this looks daunting, this cost, we do work with a company called Klarna, Klarna, which offers financing. So of course you have to be approved for the financing, but it can go anywhere from 12 to 24 months depending on the cost, your total cost. And actually in August, they're doing a promotion where it's 0% interest in the month of August if you qualify. So I did have someone do that just last week. They got 0% interest for 18 months on a Healy. So I don't know exactly what kind of credit score you would need for that, but as long as it's decent, I think you would be approved, and it would show you your total interest rate, your payments, and you can choose to either accept that or not. And then either, if you don't want to, you can cancel the order, or you can go back and just pay for it normally with a credit card. So keep that in mind. We can do some financing. I do highly, highly recommend the Healy Coil, but it is an accessory. It is an additional $224.50, but I really recommend that. In fact, if I were you, what I would buy is the Healy Professional and the Healy Coil. In fact, maybe I'll show you real quick what I would suggest, but let me show you one last thing. If you want to become a member rather than just a customer, you can do that for no cost, and that allows you to build a business, which means now you can write off your Healy. It's a business expense. You can earn commissions for referring others to Healy. You can even earn a free Healy Resonance Plus edition. So you can, just meet certain goals in your first 60 to 90 days, and you can earn another free device. So many people start off to buy, let's say you buy a professional, but you want to earn this free device because now you have 2 in your family. Or you can use the second one as a loaner to let someone try the Healy. Or you could sell it outright to someone. It doesn't matter. You can do whatever you want with that. This is, I believe, the next great network marketing company. It's going to become a multi-billion-dollar company. If you're looking for a business opportunity, a way to build a business where, I just think this is incredible because this product is so unique and interesting. As I talk to people, I simply just say, hey, have you ever heard of energy medicine or using frequencies for your health? And then whether they say yes or no, I tell them about the Healy. And I ask them if they'd like to watch a webinar like this. It's really just simply piquing their interest, getting them the information, and you will find lots of people who are very, very glad you told them about Healy. So keep that in mind. So I would like to also explain that for me, when I heard about Healy, I had actually quit my job a few months earlier and was building towards doing internet marketing. I wanted something that I could do from a laptop so that we could travel. My wife and I, our kids had all grown up. They had got out of college, gotten married, and they'd moved away. So we were in Virginia, and our daughter had moved to Georgia, and she had 2 little boys now, and our 2 sons and their wives had moved to Montana. We're stuck in Virginia with jobs. So I said, you know what? We're going to build a business that we can do from a laptop. We can do it remotely and do it from anywhere. So we've done that. In March, we sold our house. My wife quit her job in May, the end of May. And we both now, we live in an RV. This is actually in our RV that I'm talking to you right now. And we travel around the country. We were in Montana for 5 weeks seeing our boys, and then we went down through Idaho and Utah and went to Zion National Park and Bryce Canyon Park, and then we went over to Mesa Verde Park, and then Great Sand Dunes Park in Colorado, and worked our way back to Georgia. And it's just been amazing that we can have a business like this and build an income. And I'm literally doing it just by doing webinars and providing this for other people. So if you want to work with your upline, or if you happen to be in my team, you'll be able to do this type of, use these kind of tools and build a business. So, let's see how much time we have here. We just have a few minutes, so I like to keep this to 45 minutes. So I'm going to exit out of here and just show you really quick how you might place an order. So I'm going to grab a referral link. So you would want to talk to the person that told you about Healy and make sure you get their referral link. In this case, I'm just going in and grabbing one so I can give you an example. All right, so here's one for the US for my daughter, actually, in this case. So I'm going to copy that. And you would get this referral link from someone. You would just click on it. And it's being slow, but it's going to the shop. And yep, you have a little pop-up that says you're referred by. That's a 12-digit number that was part of that link. You just click, yes, this is my referrer. Just make sure it's the link you got from the person that told you about the Healy. And once you click on that, it should, let's see what's going on here. There we go. Now you're in. You can just go shop editions. And I will just give you what I would do if I were you. Because I want you to understand, because it's a little tricky since the discount. Notice it looks like it's full price, but it says get 50% off, get 50% off, and so on. My internet's a little slow, so I hope you're still seeing me and hearing me okay. But on the Healy Professional, for instance, it's normally $4,041, get 50% off, but it's going to look full price. I'll click order now. Okay, things are just going really slow. Probably my internet. Yeah, this is ridiculously slow. I'm hoping I can just show you. Yeah, it's still waiting from when I clicked. Probably is waiting to finish filling up this. So, well, I'll just tell you, it's going to show up here in the cart. It's going to look like it's full price when you add that to the cart. Okay, there it goes. It finally went. You would hit add to cart. It's going to show up in here, but it's going to look like it's $4,041. But see here, it does say your savings will be calculated automatically and displayed in the overview at the checkout. So I would just add that to the cart. What I also suggest is going shop add-ons. Okay, add-ons right here is where you would find that Healy Coil. And then under accessories, see if I can go there. I'm not going to add it, I just want to show you. Here's what I normally recommend in accessories. You go there and you get one of these connection cables. This is the cable that goes from the Healy to the electrodes on your wrist, or the adhesive ones that you could use. And what happens is if one gets damaged because you catch it on something, well, now you have no way to run microcurrent until you order another cable. So I usually suggest go ahead and get an extra cable up front and just have it on hand. And then if you do have one damaged, you can rotate that one in and then go order another one. Just always have one on hand. The other thing that most people really love is this travel case. You can fit your Healy and all your cords and everything right in there for about 20 bucks. So you might want that too. And then you would just go to the checkout screen, fill in all the information, choose if you want to be a member or a customer. If you want to try that Klarna financing, there's a way to do that. You got a bunch of little boxes you got to check about terms and conditions, of course, but you should be able to figure out the rest of that. I'm sorry that this internet is so slow here. I'm going to go ahead and just stop sharing altogether there, and we will wrap this up. So I don't see any questions here that are related to someone taking a look at Healy for the first time. So I appreciate you guys all coming here. Those of you that are guests and learning about Healy for the first time, I hope this was interesting. If you have any questions, please just reach out to the person that told you about the Healy. Please get those questions answered and jump on board. What's really cool is this discounts till the end of the month. So if you are interested in the business side of what we do, you could get your Healy ordered now, and you could offer this same discount for the next week or so, a little more than a week, to people you care about. Let them get half price off, right? And you'd already be building an organization. You'd be building some commissions. You'd be building towards getting a free Healy device of your own, a second free Healy device like I told you about. So I hope this has been helpful. This is recorded. It will be available. If you check again with the person that told you about this, they should have access to the recording link here shortly. But this recording link is only going to be good until the end of the month, because the pricing will go back to normal, or there might be some other kind of promotion, who knows, starting September 1st. So I will be deleting this video as of September 1st, as it will not be accurate pricing information at that point. So I really appreciate you all being here. Thank you very much. And we do this every Monday night live. It's normally me and a couple other leaders that we're all on the Healy board, but because of a health issue I actually had this week, where I had a blood clot and it was potentially very serious, I was not able to travel to Orlando, but the other people that normally would be helping me here are in Orlando right now at a dinner and a board meeting all day tomorrow, which I hope to join virtually. So, but we are here every Monday night, and it'll typically be a few of us presenting this together. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.